I work at a warehouse in Louisville, and they told everybody next week everybody got to work 7 days a week, no exceptions, Monday through Sunday. And I work the hours of 6:30 to 3, and sometimes they say 5:30 come in and you work. Well, I said to myself, I know I can't work that, so I'm going to talk to the HR lady. She said, Irvin, I understand your situation, but they said no exception, so if you don't work that day, they're going to let you go. Said some lady bought some tickets, and they had to let her go because she refused to turn it in. I said, okay, well. So I went back out and told my boss she said something was wrong. She said, what's going on? I told her what was going on, and I said, I guess I won't be with you after Thanksgiving. She said, why? I said, and I told him. She said, oh, no. She said, I'm going to talk about it. This is what she said to me. Don't mean I'll get anything done, but I will bring it to their attention. 20 years, she came from California with the company. 2 days later, she called me and said, Eric, they want to see you in HR. And I went there, she said, Reverend, I don't know what they're doing against, but they said that you don't have to work on Sunday and you still got your job on Monday. Amen. Amen. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't shout like that. I shouted, yes, sir! Right at work. I said, you know what happened to me, what really happened, because when they told me that, chills went over my body. I just said, look, God, reason why, because some brother said to me 2 days ago when I was talking about in the cafeteria, when he said, but gas got their pause. I didn't say God, but gas. I said, you don't do no but when it talked about God. So then when God confirmed that he was still God, chills went over my body. So I began to talk about it, and one girl said, oh, I'm getting a shout. So I want to remind you that when God puts you through a state of preparation, he wants to see how faithful are you. Now, look. He could have let them went on and let me go. I was fine with that too. I told my wife, she said, well, I guess I got to work some more overtime till you get a job. As soon as they told me you got a job, no, I had to work, I called and said, baby, I still got a job on Monday. See, you might not get happy when God show out, but I just get overjoyed when God show out. And I want to remind you that no matter what state you and I are in, we got to be faithful to God. And if you're faithful to God, he's faithful to see you through. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here it is. Now the news comes. Moses had died. They were in a state of mourning. So what they were doing, Joshua was doing too, because he was Moses' boy. He looked at Moses as a father figure spiritually. Mm-hmm. Because everywhere Moses was, you found Joshua. Mm-hmm. He learned from Moses. He watched Moses. He watched the people deal with Moses. He watched Moses deal with the people. But he still had a relationship with God. So here it was. They were in a state of mourning. He still was being prepared for God's purpose, and he didn't know. Well, God said, now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke unto Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' minister, Moses' student. You know what? Moses is dead. But I want to remind you that when God moves leadership, don't mean God's program is dead. Come on, somebody. Amen. When I look at us, this year has been a trying year for us. Amen. We have been up and down, twisted around, emotions high and down. Come on, can I walk with it? Come on, preacher. But look at God. God said, in spite of whatever's going on, I'm still God. Amen. Yeah, I'm still God. And every now and then, when we find ourselves looking low, God's got to say, get up from there. Because I'm still God. Yeah. Here it was. It wasn't abnormal. Brother, I'm hot. wasn't abnormal for God to do his job, because God was always doing his job. So God was preparing Joshua in his servanthood, was preparing Joshua as he supported the leader. And I want to remind you that it's impossible to lead if you don't follow. Oh, yeah. And you wonder why you can't lead in your house because you ain't followed yet. I just said something, but you'll catch it in the morning. You ain't got to learn how to follow. Somebody said to me at work, they said, some ladies was talking. We were they had a baby shower, and we got invited, our data process got invited, so I came and, Reverend like eating. He just showed me the meat. And I'll eat. So they was talking about something, they kept saying, you do this and you do that. I said, brother, you gonna get married, you want to learn that you ain't the boss in the house. Amen. He says, so the woman looked at me, my boss again, says, well, something he's learned. I said, yeah, if mom ain't happy, the house ain't happy. I said, that's 20 years of marriage talking to you, brother. You get ready to get married. You better learn how to, you might think you're a leader outside. When you get home, what mama say does go.
Most times.
She might say it underlined, but you say, okay, honey, it still go. I understand, me, and you might try to bring your manlyhood up. Not me, Reverend. Okay, keep on living. You know when we get to talk, Reverend, you have to say that so loud. Tell everybody that my wife ruled the house. Yeah, she does. Right. She rules the house. God made her a type of woman like that. Ask Adam. He gave it all up for you. Come on, somebody. Gave everything up. He said, whoa, this is a bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Yeah. All right, let's get back in the word. So now it's Moses dead. And Joshua's up. After morning, God called Joshua to be up. If I can put my mind in it, he would say, Joshua, it's your time to back. The torch has been passed to you. And I want to ask Joshua a question. Joshua, how did you feel when God said, arise, my servant is dead? And I can hear him in my mind if you'll allow me to use my spiritual imagination. St. Irvin, it's just something about Moses that I always wanted to be. When you watch the leader respond to God with a close relationship, I wanted to be just like that. When I watch Moses lead the people in spite of their frustration and stress, I wanted to be just like that. God was preparing me, Irvin, and I really didn't know it, but in spite of I was saying, Lord, I want to be just like that.
Well,
then God took me up on my word. Because I was faithful to God's leader while he was faithful to God. And God heard the desires of my heart, Irvin, and I believe. Yeah, I wasn't ready, but yes, I was ready for the test that God had. So when God spoke to me, there was something deep down in me, knew it was time.
well,
And I just want to say thank you. Because somebody before me showed me how to do it right. And I want to remind you that even in your preparation, say somebody before you and me showed us how to do it right. Then we got to pursue God in faith. Verse 2 said, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore rise, go over this Jordan, thou and all these people, unto the land which I'll give to thee, even the children of Israel. First, notice what God said. Oh, this people, we will be coming back to this. If you're going to manifest your time, you can't spend time guessing what God means. What you mean is, if you are a representative of God, a believer in Jesus Christ, you are God's people. Not because he created, but because you said, Lord, I accept the identity that you gave me. I believe in Jesus. He died for my sins. I believe he's the Son. I believe that he rose again. Yeah. If you accept it, then you and I are God's children.
Yeah.
And as Joshua was saying, this people, because Moses, y'all, was to let the people know that God was real. 400 years of silence. And you understand, after 400 years, some died, some murmured, because they never forgot that it was God that made a way to invite us as guests in Egypt. And now, because God made a way, he's taken that way from us. Oh, I can hear the people murmuring among each other. We're slaves now. We didn't always be slaves when we came here, but look at us now. But here it was. Got to pursue on our faith. And I said last week, and I'll continue saying it. If you don't have faith, you can't please God. Amen. Oh, we got to have faith. So he says, all these people, you got to be about moving the things from yesterday. Check it out. We still have some of the Moses generation mixed with some Joshua generation right here. Woo. We got to turn to some of them that went through the storms to say thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We always want to run to the library and get the best written book about history when you got history right here. Yeah. They can tell you about times when they were only able to give $1 or $2. And it wasn't because they didn't want to give God, but that's all they had to give God. Yes, sir. So now that helps you to understand that why are you giving $1 or $2? Look out, when you got more to give God. Yeah. You got to ask the history books that's here when we weren't able to go to war. Come on in, Brightwell. You can tell us that as a black man I went to war. Fought. Yeah. That's a history book. We got to be prepared that God didn't bring us here to let us go, but we got to hold on to the faith in God. Yeah. That's the only way we're going to get over. We got to hold on to God's faith. Yeah. As God has put us through and still putting us through preparation. I want to remind you the question that God is asking, are you ready for the torch? And everybody can answer that question themselves. You know if you're ready or not. You know when people look at you, if you can stand the test for God or not. You know if God can use you to bring somebody closer to God because you have enough faith to believe in God or you don't. You already know that for yourself. Nobody has to tell you. God already showed you. Yeah, but the truth is that we too prideful to tell the truth. Won't nobody see that we ain't ready yet. That we can't handle it yet. We still need work. Well, come to Sunday school.